So welcome guys, today we are going to be working on a real task for our data analyst playbook community project, the cohort 2. These are our first task and we just jump right away. So we'll start by importing our data. Our data are CSV files and they have been arranged properly. So there are about 6 of them that we need. This is a very simple project, very simple. We will not have much need to use more complex formulas. Brought in the route dimension, real route dimension table to help us get the names of the routes. We are now bringing in the real station dimension table to help us get the station names. And we are bringing in the real. We don't need this particular one, but we need this. So I'm going to load the data because I would like to transform all of them at once. You can see the model has been created already for us because the names were properly checked properly. So one final thing I need to do is go to the transform data Power Query. I need to change route dimensions or IDs to text. This would be very important going forward. Changing all of them to text. So our IDs now has text. Next, I'm going to use datetime. So we have this. Great. Close and apply. Next, we import our wireframe. We set it to the Canva. Initially, we have created two-page wireframe, and you can see the transparency here. So transparency should be 0, and this should be set to fill. After that, we need to start creating some DAX tables that will enable us to work with our data. First, I would like to create the date table, which is very important to us in creating connections. So we go to modeling, new table. I've already set the DAX formulas to be used here since it's simple. So I would like to show us something as we go on in the project, because the data has time and also seconds in it. Our date time might not work only, so we need to create another column and give it an hour key. So work on that data. So we've done this. I want to do something else to add a column just to tweak a little bit and make it more fun to us, more insights as we go on. So we're going to add a new column here. This new column will enable us to arrange our data in terms of if the timing was at midnight, so that we can actually see what kind of trains move in the midnight, during the morning hours, so that we can know rush hours by station or by day and all of that. So this is the DAX formula for it. We've broken down from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. is midnight from morning, so you can just take whatever time you want to use, but this is mine for now. So this is it. So that's done. Let's move on. So first of all, we'll start by creating our KPIs, little matrices that can be tracked easily. Let's start with our revenue. I want to create cards of revenue. Now I'm going to take out sorry, my Power BI looks a little bit different. It is not too different, it's just a little bit different from yours. Every other thing is the same, it's just the structure. So don't think it is too different from yours, it's just structure. I'm adding title. The title here, I don't like using terms like total revenue. I use terms like revenue generated because not every time you have the totals of the revenue. So if you have filters and you apply filters to your revenue, it doesn't become a total at that point, it becomes a revenue generated. So when we are using terms like totals, we should be very careful about it. I'm going to reduce this more so that it won't affect what we'll do later on, to make it look a little bit beautiful. So this is okay. Now I'll take out the background. You can beautify it as much as you want. Bottom line is we are getting to, you know what you're trying to do. So next we'll try to also show the number of passengers. So I'm taking out revenue this time, I'm going to use passengers. So don't forget our title, we have to rename it to number of passengers. Okay, we are making progress. Next would check out the total amount of tickets sold. This time, if you have question, drop it on the comment area. Total amount of tickets sold, count distinct tickets sold, and the title is tickets sold. Then finally, I want to add one last one, number of train stations used. So why is it important to know the number of train stations used in a particular day? Probably because of certain times there are repairs to this train station, so you might eventually not be working in full capacity. So the analysis might be, do you need to confirm on such days? Analysis might be that, I want to confirm on the days when we'll be using 23 train stations due to two are under repairs. Do we lose customers? Do at the time of movement increase and stuff like that? It helps in scheduling. So this is important. Now, our first session was about business understanding. Did anyone take time to try as much as they can to read about the train operations? This is where the analysis led us this time. So this is stations used. So I like to be consistent. If I am using one decimal places, I like to use it throughout my analysis. So I'm going to change everything to one decimal place, except for the train stations used. So why I won't change that, because you can't have 0.5 even for the tickets, so we can't have this. But why it's important is because the ticket sold is quite much. So since we have fewer train stations, there is no need making it a decimal value. Next, we come here. I'm going to add a little bit of touch to my analysis, because that's what makes you different from any other person in the room, what you can see differently. So from this datetime value, we can add another column here that will help us to know if this train moves, the amount of passengers we have in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. And I've already shared the DAX code with you earlier on time category. You see it as time category. I shared it in the first time, so I'm going to include it here by adding a new column. I'm going to add a new column. So the new column, how I did it is from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. is midnight. This is mine. You can categorize yours as you want. You understand? Certain people, their midnight starts by 12 a.m. and stuff like that. So you can categorize yours as much as you want. So this is my categorization. So we can also use it on this table, so that we understand better how these passengers and the tickets. So we can add it to column here. What we are creating is simple. It's a simple analysis, so we wouldn't do too much arrangement, so that everyone can benefit from it because of time as well. We should be done in, let's say, 30 minutes or less. So I'm going to use this bold header. I'm going to change it to tabular. Now I don't need these totals for now. I'm taking the row and column totals. Then I will increase my grid lines, my global font rather. So 12 is enough, but I can as well increase it from here as well. So depending on how you want to arrange yours. Then day of the week is quite long. I can make it shorter by using DOF. So DOW, day of week. So you see it has given us more space on our data. We can include more space here. You can shift more here. So what it just did, it has bought us a little bit more space. Now we can also arrange this data well. We can add colors to them and stuff like that. On the Excel analytics I did on this same data, I included a lot of other things here. You can include background colors, you can include font colors, you can include, then you can also try to make them conditional by using the functions here if that is what you want. But for now, we'll try and avoid all of that. Let's just leave it as it is and focus on our analysis proper. So the next thing we'll try to do is answer the next question. So we've answered few questions here already. So we want to answer we've answered what day has the highest passenger traffic and what time of the day experience peak demand. Just this one plot have been able to do that for us. This one plot can do that for us. If we arrange it properly, we've seen the day of the week that have peak periods, we can check it here. Then we can also see the time of the day that has this peak period. So we can use this to check them out. Only looking at it, we see that mornings are the peak periods and nights, morning and night. Then while afternoon and midnight kind of like have lower traffic. You understand? So it is important for us to include all of this in our analysis. So let's move to the next question. The next question we'll try to answer is, which route generates the highest revenues and which stations handle the most passengers? Remember, there are business questions and data questions as well. So let's go. Which route generates the highest revenue and which station handles the most passengers? Recall when we were discussing the business sides of the questions and also the data sides of the question. So put that in mind. So now let's try to answer which route first. So we are not going to use the route IDs this time because we have route names. It would be best to use the route names. Include the route names here. These are our routes. Now we will which route generates the highest revenue? Route to revenue. So this is it. This is what we have. So we are going to use this plot here, but we are going to tweak it a little bit. First, starting by removing the titles, we'll add the titles later. Next, we'll go to our y-axis and we'll take out the y-axis title. We don't need it. Next, we have to change the colors of the writings to white. I know you'll be complaining, why am I changing it? We'll get to that. Next, I'm going to reduce the color, font size, and I'm changing the font size to a smaller one. Next, I'll go to my x-axis and I'm going to take out the values as well as the title. We are taking it one by one. Then on the bars, I want to do something. I'm going to create a border. This border, I'm going to give it a matching color of white, and this white I'm going to not a matching color, rather I'm going to give it a color of white, but I'm going to increase the width. This is just to beautify. Then for the color of the chart, I'm going to give the chart the same color as our what they call it, our wireframe, so that we look it looks the same. Don't worry, you get to see what we have done in few minutes or seconds rather. So I go to style, I take out the background. You see, we have made something that looks a little bit fun in the eyes. So we now know that it is our metro rapid station that generates the highest revenue. So what can we do? We can tell management, oh, since the metro rapid, we can provide more trains that take on this take on more passengers, since it generates more traffic. The scheduling should be better. Customer service should be increased and stuff like that. So that's you adding business touch to your analysis now. So we don't have data labels yet. We are going to include data labels, and for us to do that, we need to change the colors of the data labels to white. Yes, and we're going to reduce the size, the font size. We're going to take it to 1 decimal place. Yep. So after doing that, on the bars, you can do more. You can try to reduce the bar size, the width. You can reduce it. You can increase it. Anything you want to do, you can check out the layout so that you just take on the spacing between, so that it just looks fun. It's just your call, you understand? So everything is your call. Now let's move on to something else immediately, since we have less time. So we are now talking about stations with highest traffic. Now for this, we'll use top 5 or top 10. I would say we can use top. You can use top 8. You can use top. It doesn't really matter. Whatever top values you decide to use. So very setting of what you want to use. Why is this here? So stations with highest traffic. So let's use our top. I will want to use this and filter on stations, change it to from basic filtering to top N, and I will include my passengers here, the number of passengers, and let's use top 5 so that it makes it look a little bit fun and easy. Yeah, the data are quite close. We'll work on that going forward so that we have like more probability to discuss other things. So first, I'm taking out the title. We'll include the title some other way. Hopefully we have time for that. And if we don't, we'll include it some other way. So I'm taking out the title. Now this chart will be the opposite of this. So next we go to the x-axis. We take out the title of the x-axis, the colors, we make it a lot darker. Then we go to the y-axis. We take out the value and also the title. Now our columns, we need to focus on the columns a little bit. The columns, we can give it a border and give it a border of white this time. and increase the border so that the columns will look smaller. So it is just ways of making your chart look fun, nothing serious in it. So next we'll include the data labels. Don't forget we are using 1 decimal place. So at 1 decimal place, yep, at 1 decimal place we have this. We make it a little bit darker. Now there's something we can do to just add a little bit of spice to this. We can include the payment method as, yeah, I know what this is. So we've already added colors, so we are going to go back to our columns and take it out. We can just do this. So we can use this, work on the legend. You see now we have separate informations to just, yes, the data is quite close and I am to blame for that. So just don't. So on the legend, we can work on the legend and take out the title of the legend and make it top center. Now let's go and respond to few other questions that we might include ourselves. We have payment type. I know we have already included payment type here, and some people will be saying, why include payment type again? I think it's part of the questions. So payment type is associated with revenue. So any question that comes payments, it should be associated with revenue. So I can include this. I'm not doing too much this time. I'm just trying to arrange what we have so that it looks fun. Taking out the title, I'm leaving every other thing as it is. I'm taking out the background. So when we change the background, we have to change the font colors as well. So the legend, the text of the legend. So why I'm doing all these things is so that you know where everything stays. You understand? You can go through anything, any challenge you have with your analysis immediately. So just helps you to know where everything stands. Now I use 1 decimal place. Don't forget we use 1 decimal place almost all the time. So it just helps us to arrange this. So you can include the, now we might need to work on the colors in our slicers. Reason being that let's say for cash, the blue is quite almost the same with what we have here, so we can lighten it up. Yes. So just recall that anything you do here, you have to do the same thing here. Come to your columns, come to cash, and lighten it up as well. So we're good to go. Now, one last thing. We have ticket type that we can include here. Oh, it's not the last. Sorry. You still have me for some time. So ticket size should be attributed to passengers. So ticket type rather. So on the column side, I can change the colors immediately here so that we don't come back again to this. Not making any adjustments. I'll add labels, the data labels is in millions, we change it to thousands. And to one decimal place. So now we don't have to come back here anymore, but we might still want to come back if something brings us here. So I'm taking out the title on the x-axis and I'm going to make the values darker. Then on our y-axis I'm taking out all the values. So very simple, we have achieved this. You can now include, so while there are certain spaces up here, you can use text boxes to add your titles and all of that, but you can notice that I have been trying to leave certain space up here, down here, so that we can include some more this time. So I'm going to do something real quick so that anyone that wants to include this, I'm going to add day of the week to this. So the chart type will change to an area chart, and I'm going to add day of the week to it. And if you increase it a little bit, you have this. So we'll take out title, we'll take out X and Y axis, take out X and Y axis, and we try to blend it into our plots like this. We have to do the same for number of passengers. But when you do this, always make sure to point it out in your report. So instead of revenue this time, we have passengers. So we'll also do it for tickets sold. Instead of passengers, now we have ticket ID counts. Ticket ID should come as count distinct, not just count. Then one last one, the stations used. Now stations used, how best will we show this? The stations used will be best shown using the values we created on time and category, and you can also use the ticket ID or we use the passengers. So make sure that whoever will view this your plot know what these values here signify. Now we can include our filters, our slicers, anyone. I would like to include year as a slicer. So this is the first slicer we are including. We can beautify it as much as you want, but for now, let's use it as it is. The analytical part might not take you too much time, but you see arrangement and putting things in order can as well take a lot of time. So things like this. So we need to reduce the header size so that it enters properly. So the text should be filtered by year. That's how I like to arrange my filters. Filter by year. Just gives the person trying to come or use your filters to know what they are filtering by, not just giving them value year. So I'm going to do one of that thing. So filter 2024. You see this data is now specific to 2024. I thought I changed this to thousands. So that's it. So can reduce it more so that we have little bit more space. Value, we reduce it as well so that we can have more space. Can take out the background. Now I go to the value and give it a border. So it has a border, but we can increase it. So this is it. Now we filtered by year, we can filter by month. Don't forget to deal with the title. Can filter by day of the week. Now we can filter by station if you want to. I would have shown you how to hide filters, but let's leave it for some other time. Remember I said these sessions are supposed to be shorter. So we are filtering by station. So we can also filter by route name, but I would like to end my filtering with just ticket type. Then what next is for me to include titles. Let's just play around with some titles using text boxes.